This is the Thunder 1 FT. One of the coolest things about this is that it's a full suspension foldable bike for $899, but I do have a coupon code for 80 bucks off. So you got an $800 full suspension foldable bike. Now, before I dive into performance, I want to talk about the frame because that's just a unique looking bike. It's kind of like a Z shape, going this way, up, and then over. I don't like the welding job. Pretty gnarly welds up by the head tube and then by the folding points and then underneath the saddle. All right, so let's dive into the stats. And I like to start off with power. In the rear, there's a 500 watt nominal, 800 watt peak motor. They say they could take a rider up to 20 miles per hour on the highest of the 3 pedal assist levels. When I did a speed test, pretty much all 3 levels topped out about 21 miles per hour. Now you have a thumb throttle on the right side, which also tops out the same as pedal assist level 3 at 20 miles per hour. As far as acceleration, for pedal assist, it was pretty reactive. Only took about a half a revolution for the power to come on. And when it hit, it actually gets up and goes fairly quick. Now the thing I didn't like about this the most is that this is not a 0 start bike with the throttle. Hit that, ain't going nowhere. You gotta push off a little bit, get going about 3 to 4 miles per hour before it engages. But when it does kick in, it matches the same power as pedal assist. Well, I've never taken a $800 bike up a 26% grade hill, so let's see how it does. I did tackle this with a lot of momentum, and even when doing that, you still have to help the bike out. So I was able to make it to the top, but it is slow and you will get a burn. Moving on to brakes, you got mechanical brakes, and I actually like the levers. They're some of the nicer, cheaper feeling levers. They've got motor cutoff. The right side controls the rear, left side the front. From 20 miles per hour, it took me about 20 feet to stop. One thing that I like that these guys did was putting the keyhole on the battery. And so if you do want to take the battery out, it's easy access. You don't have to reach underneath and move the wiring like most bikes designed like this have you do. Slide it back in, pull out the key. I like that. Now that is a 48 volt, 10 amp hour battery, and it's got a range rating of 31 to 50 miles. On their website, they did a range test with a 166 pound rider, and his average speed was 9 miles per hour. Who is gonna go 9 miles an hour? When I did a range test, I topped the bike out. My average speed was around 18 to 19 miles per hour, and I got just over 19 miles with over 1,300 feet of elevation gain. But now you know what you can get when you're lightweight and you ride it slow versus when you're a little bit heavier and you ride it fast. Now I want to talk about all the things that I liked and didn't like as far as specs, features, things like that. And I want to start off with the positioning. This is the first bike I've seen designed like this where you can't raise up the handlebars. You actually have a very aggressive riding posture. I'm 5'11", as most of you guys know, and I'll just show you just with the saddle all the way down. Got a nice bend to my knee. See what it looks like when it's all the way up. At that point, I can fully extend my leg from this height. These are very low. This does fold up just like any other regular foldable bike. The pedals fold in, you can lower the saddle, and then break the bike in half right in the middle. A few things that I thought that these guys did really well was just the overall solid feel of the ride. I'm going 18 miles an hour, gonna hit a section here, a rough section. Woo, yeah. That squeaky noise you heard was my phone mount moving. But bike felt very good. I thought the motor noise was actually pretty good. I'm gonna come up on a small hill so you can hear the motor kick in. Gets a little bit louder, a little pulsating, but for a bike in this price range, I'm actually okay with that. Like usually they're crazy loud. And then I like the balance. That stays upright, just what you want. The thing that impressed me the most was the full suspension. You got a front fork that you can lock out and adjust. And then in the back, you have the rear spring suspension, and you can see how it's threaded. So you can adjust this. It's actually almost all the way up, so it's pretty loose. But at that setting, coming off curbs was just awesome. The suspension isn't that bad for a single track green rated trail, and this is one of the rougher ones in the area. It's cheaper suspension, but it's just enough to manage this type of trail. The one thing that I don't like is that you don't have a huge power separation between the 3 pedal assist levels. I have been on pedal assist 1, and I'm finding that I have to use the brakes quite a lot. It's just too much power. That's really my only complaint for off-road riding. Now, a couple things I didn't like are the tires. You don't have a ton of tread. It's very easy to pick up thorns, like you can see that I have one right here. Let's just pull this guy out, and that's gonna be going flat. If you guys live in Utah, you know what these are. Then the last thing I didn't like was the motor reaction time for both pedal assist and throttle. I'm on the highest gear, I stop pedaling. There's about a half a second before the power kicks off. And then when I begin to pedal, there's 1, 2, about 2.5 to 3 revolutions before the power comes back on. So close to topping the bike out, release it, shuts off right away. If I re-engage, wow. Over 2 seconds before that power comes back on. My 3 favorite things about the 1FT has got to be the suspension. This is one of my favorite affordable bikes, folding bikes for off-road riding. The second thing is the design. I just think it looks pretty cool. I like the curved frame, the paint job. And then the third was the battery, how easy it is to take the battery out of the frame. If you want to pick it up, I've got the link in the description. As always, I appreciate you guys hopping on here and checking out my content, and have a good day.